Good morning, everybody. Everybody should write letters again. Are you familiar with letters? Letters are written messages sent by one person and received by another. They were believed to be first sent in 500 BC and were the only mode of communication then. Before the numbers declined, the faster approaches being invented. Primarily the telegraph in 1830s, then instant messages or IMs at 1996. And one by one, it became obvious that social media platforms started to replace postmen and paper. But today, I'm telling you that letters are irreplaceable. They could be perhaps by frequency, but they cannot be by way of feelings and thoughts. You know why? Because when someone writes a letter, however he or she writes it, he has a unique handwriting. And if he chooses to sketch the places he's been to during holidays, or draws a funny face to accompany a joke, he has left his personal blueprint that is different from others. And these are something that fonts and stickers online cannot ever express. It's the alphabets look the same on screen no matter who sent them, and the stickers too, which were downloaded and favorited by many other people before you. The first letter I received was from my 6 years old cousin, who sent it to me along with some presents. I don't exactly remember what presents I received. I was 5, but I remember her rather distinct penmanship and how receiving a letter made me feel. I bought a present and wrote a letter to another friend. And the first words I received from her were thank you. What you said in your letter means so much to me. Do you see the pattern? Do you understand what I am saying? I am saying that letters are very powerful. Now, many people think that exchanging letters is complicated because you cannot talk with each other in real time. But oh, I think therein is the magic. With letters, you bring someone to an entirely different perspective by the attempts of describing how your day was or what's being celebrated at home. Your descriptive and narrative writing allows the reader to better see what's around you, what's inside you, how you feel. He or she can more carefully inspect how you are really growing up, not just through your stories, but also through how you tell your story. When I read letters sent to me and imagine the writer's whispers that took a while to get here, it feels as if time and space cannot get in our way. Letters can be kept for years, even generations, because they are perceptible by touch. And children and grandchildren could one day open a certain treasure chest to read the letters exchanged by their parents before they were promised lovers. I think this function of letters is so very heartwarming. In writing letters, you get to decide how you will write the letter and what the final product will look like. From my observation, I classify the how part into two options: writing spontaneously versus drafting. I like to think that writing spontaneously is for recipient-driven letters, while drafting is for message-driven letters. When you want to write to somebody just because, you can directly write as if having a normal unscripted conversation with him. On the other hand, drafting is more favorable when you have particular messages or feelings to get to somebody, because that way you will not forget anything in the final draft. Although these are the ideal circumstances, some people may find letter writing a very difficult transition after having used text messaging for a long time. So it is alright to type your original draft in your mobile first before writing them on paper, as there you can have the ease to add, delete, or replace things without it being a mess. The recipient will be equally happy. The next feature of how you'll write your letter is the atmosphere you choose to write it in. You have the freedom to build your own setting. Here is a picture of my writing corner. I have dark handles, spare envelopes, stamps and ink pads, ready wax seals, crayons and glue guns I used to make them, and of course stationery. Just a collection of small things for letter writing. Another feature is the atmosphere. The It's the sounds you get to hear. I am talking about the sounds of pen strokes on paper, especially accompanied by rainfall. The crackling of burning wood waking the dead silence of night. And it's not just sounds. It could be the smell of the scented candles or the hardening of wax seals that give you satisfaction. Now, you decide what the letter will look like. You get to express yourself to others here, aside from the genuine writing already. I adore teapots, for instance. So when my letters are not urgent, I get my envelopes in T for color and scent. I also have my favorite teacup stamp for the wax seals. And I also like to insert dried naturosities, short form nature curiosities, which I often collect from playing outside. They will know it's me before getting to my name under yours truly. Isn't the idea just exciting? Another thing about letters is that it is an inexpensive hobby. Before I started, I already have the things I now use to complete them. You can even recycle things along the way. I am aware that letters say paper and paper says waste. So in order to try to make up for this, use scrap papers as envelopes. You who have received my letters will notice that the wrong side of my envelopes are traced with messy bird cakes and no longer desirable notes. You can even recycle fully used papers into blank pages, and you can find a lot of tutorial videos on YouTube. If you don't have stamps, you can use liquefied candles or melted glue guns, sticks, and crayons and stamp it with a coin. Once your letters are ready, it's time for delivery. You can either mail them along with some presents, or you can reserve them for the next meeting with your friends. However, not all the letters you write are supposed to be read by another. Like love letters to your secret crushes, you either crumple the paper or seal the confession with a lot of glue, put it inside a box, wish it a dark doom under a bag full of confetti, and forget about it. You can also write to yourself, especially to yourself. We face struggles, we make mistakes, and oftentimes we may look down upon ourselves. So nothing is as powerful as hearing forgiveness from a younger you. Words of encouragement will do, or maybe just a simple telling of your present days for you to read in the far future. It will be so touching to read them one day and say, wow, I never thought you could think of me out of all people. When we finally get back to writing letters and returning them, family, friendship, and love in general will be much stronger. Through these acts, we will pay more attention to the words we let out, and there will be less of accidentally hurting somebody through text or call. We will get to always express our well wishes in the first paragraph and gratitude in the last that we normally do not say in other mediums of communication. This new reality sounds happier and less miserable to me. Many people think that letters are out of date because they are impractical. It takes more time in arranging proper sentences and consequently more time in preparing them. But how much more time exactly? Just the tiniest bit more. And how much longer will it stay in remembrance of the reader and the writer? Very much longer. So please get your favorite pen and a piece of paper, brush your first line or your first curve, and let your words guide the rest. Write a letter and send it to somebody. Write a letter and send it to somebody else. Write a letter and make someone feel important. Write a letter and hope that the world gets better. Thank you so much for listening.